Hi, I'm David Flynn. I'm Commandant of the local Marine Corps League.
Hey, and I'm Steve Lindauer. I'm Public Affairs Officer of the Marine Corps League, and we're here for
Scuttlebutt.
Scuttlebutt.
Scuttlebutt is a new show that we're developing to inform the community and veterans about information that impacts both of them.
Yeah, we've set this up for those of you in the military with any relativity to the Navy or the Marine Corps. Scuttlebutt is a term just meaning the latest news. Sometimes official, sometimes not official. Some people often call it the scoop. So we're going to plan on doing this about once or twice a month, and we're going to try to give the public the latest scoop or the latest scuttlebutt of what's happening locally in the county relative to military veterans.
What we'd like to do first is thank Mr. Bill Potter and the staff and the crew at DC Broadcasting for assisting us with this, because if we could not have their assistance, obviously, if it was Steve and I, you would be getting a much less of a useful product.
Yeah. As many times as we've done these things, it just seems like the first time almost every time. But we're going to try to get you the most notable stuff that's coming up. For instance, this coming up here in the next few days is going to be Memorial Day weekend. And so we know a lot of people try to use this summertime. This kind of kick off the summertime. And that's when people have a lot of outings and things like that. But we got to remember exactly what Memorial Day is and what it's set aside for. And I'd also like to make the distinction later on down the show here, the distinction between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. But
for Memorial Day, what we're really looking at is honoring all those veterans who have paid the ultimate sacrifice for our country, for our freedoms and our way of life. There are thousands and thousands of veterans who have died in service for their country, and this is a time of the year where we set aside a moment and remember them and think about them and their families.
yeah, we recognized locally here, we will be reading off the names of the local veterans in the past year have passed away. Also, you in the public, you might see groups of military veterans in some of the various cemeteries. And during that time, there are a couple of things. First of all, various groups have been assigned to the various cemeteries, and we'll be placing flags out for every military grave that's out there. There'll be a flag out there, as well as, is it Memorial Day itself when they have the 27-shot volley?
The honor guards, that's correct,
Yes,
Steve.
honor
So
guard. There you
there'll
go.
be 3 or 4 different honor guards working throughout the weekend, and primarily on Monday, where they'll be going to each cemetery, performing a ceremony and honoring all the veterans who have passed away. And there'll be separate press releases in a number of different publications covering the times and the places for those honor guards as we get that. The thing about veterans are there are thousands and thousands of veterans, not who just have given their lives, but who serve us in the local community. And here in Dubois County, what we're trying to do is, one, get the community more aware of who the veterans are and what they provide to the county, and also where we can all work together to make this county and our community stronger.
There's a lot of benefits to having a veteran, and I guess I'm speaking towards to people, to employers, potential employers. Veterans come out just simply because of what they've gone through, and I don't necessarily mean just men and women that have been deployed and seen combat. Just any person that goes through a their military tour, their service, whether it be 2 years, 4 years, or 20 years, they come through, and that individual has responsibility. They more than likely have been responsible for equipment worth millions of dollars, whether that be a jet plane, a helicopter, a tank, or down to some kind of a service weapon. They've also got the self-discipline, integrity, the courage, and just the being able to work with other people by design. And being in the military, you have to do that. And that you adapt to doing that. And they don't this isn't just like a weekend thing. They've got multiple years of experience doing that.
The beauty of that is when all this is combined, it's a win-win for whoever's involved. Perfect example is the ceremony coming up on May 25th. At 10 o'clock a.m. on Saturday, the 25th, all the veterans organizations within the county, which there's 13 of them, will be meeting on the square and having a ceremony to honor all veterans. The public is invited and encouraged to attend. Our keynote speaker for that event will be State Senator Mr. Mark Messmer. He's a very big supporter and much appreciated by the veteran community, not just here in the county, but throughout the state.
I might mention we've been affiliated with the local veterans groups and the local community for a number of years, and we're very fortunate in this community. From my viewpoint, we've got a lot of support from the public. With the Marine Corps League, I'm speaking from us. We've got Toys for Tots, things like that coming up in various fundraisers, and we've had a lot of people, a lot of support, and we appreciate that. And so there's things that we're doing that Dave and I are going to be talking about over the coming weeks, things that we want to give back, and the things that are beneficial to the community.
The key point about that is beneficial. I mean, veterans receive a lot of help from the community, but the community gains a lot from the veterans' experience and what they've done throughout their career. The ability for veterans to come back, assist organizations, mentor our youth, assist with programming, and just show how great it is to be an American and experience everything that we have all around the world is something that you really have to talk to people about.
If you think about it, you'll see a lot of the leadership in the community are made up of veterans, and you may not even know they've been veterans. There's a lot of Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, the softball, baseball teams. Chances are there's a really good chance that the people that are the coaches and the teachers may have experience of some veteran or some military experience in their background.
This show is going to grow with the community. We're going to talk about many different aspects of veterans and military ties and how it works into our community. I mean, there are so many ways that this is going to put Dubois County on the map compared to other counties, and how we deal with veterans and veteran services here and throughout the local area.
One thing I would like to point out, Dave, there's a transition coming from the military back into the civilian world. Sometimes can be tough, and sometimes can be traumatic. Millions of men and women come back from the military and just blend right into society without a problem. But sometimes that's not always that easy, depending upon what their deployment's been.
That's true, because the military's large, and millions of people throughout the country do serve in the military. Some people serve, until they retire and are fortunate to, like I did. And then some people do, just a single tour of duty, or,
like me.
4 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And those experiences are different. And how we come back, the difference in age and experience levels, and how we, translate that into community is different. So that transition is different for each veteran. Very, very good point.
Yeah, there's I always tell people going into the military was a whole lot easier than coming out, because when you go into boot camp, and in our particular case in the Marines, and every branch is like this, your transition from civilian life, first of all, you're a young person, probably 18, 20 years old or less, or at least less than 20 years old, and your transition from civilian life into the military, you just do what you're told to do. But getting back out, coming back out of the military, and again, depending on your deployment, if you've been in combat, that's a real different scenario coming back from that type of environment into the civilian environment.
That is true. And as we go on with these shows, we're going to be bringing different attributes of things that are available to veterans and the community throughout the county and the state and our federal government. But, in closing out on this first show, first we want to thank you and thank Mr. Bill Potter and DC Broadcasting again for allowing us to do that, and also to just reiterate that Memorial Day is a time for all of us to thank our veterans and think of them.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you all soon.